Thanks for staying with us. Now, for many, music is just a form of escapism, but for others, it's a lifeline.
Yeah, so join us now to discuss the powerful impact of musical therapy is neurological musical therapist, Dr. Shane Cassidy. Good morning to you,
Good
Shane.
morning to
This is
Shane.
a lovely story, this, and the benefits of music, because listen, we're seeing so many people now with dementia, with Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, epilepsy, but something like musical therapy has a massive impact on them.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think to look at the origins of music therapy and where it came from, it first kind of came about after World War I, where war vets were returning from the field and suffering from severe PTSD. And it was noticed how much of an impact that music was having on them and their quality of life and their ability to kind of integrate back into society. And from there, I suppose the research started, and since then it's diversified massively. So we're working in the rehab context, we're working in mental health. So it's quite diverse in terms of how it can be applied. And I think music is really well placed in terms of how it can be tailored to fit and suit specific conditions. And at Neuralinks, we work particularly with people with neurological conditions across the lifespan. So we'd be working with young children, babies, right across to older adults.
So how does it work? What do you do?
It can look very different. So depending on who it is who's coming and particularly what their goals are. So say, for example, somebody has had a stroke or an acquired brain injury and their movement has been impaired. So I suppose it's looking at how do we apply music in that context. So we're looking in particular in that case at rhythm and tempo.
So does that get them up moving again to the music?
Getting them up moving. Exactly, yeah. But we're using the music at a very specific pace. So we're using the metronome to kind of guide and act as a template for their movement. So the goal might be to increase their gait speed, so the speed of walking, to increase their stride length. So we're all the time looking at what are the elements of music that we can apply here to help with the goal.
So does it have to be taking part, or can it be just listening as well?
It can be listening. Most of it is interactive in some way. Now, that's not to say that somebody is coming in. So, for example, going back to that example where somebody is working on their gait and gait training, all they're doing is walking. You know, they might be playing some instruments as pre-gait exercises in the lead up to the walking.
And what kind of instruments would they be playing? Like, what kind of instruments would you have in a therapy class?
A lot of what we would say error-free instruments. So instruments that don't require much skill or lessons or that kind of thing. So a lot of people coming to us wouldn't be musicians or would have had any formal training or musical lessons, as I say. But we'd be using a lot of percussion instruments, a lot of drumming, and I suppose that's getting the rhythmic stimulation going. And that would hopefully feed into...
I mean, it's amazing the impact that it has. We actually have a little clip of the former ballet dancer Martha Saldana, who had Alzheimer's, and she listens to Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. Let's take a quick look.
Isn't that incredible? It's just how the music brings it all back.
It just brings it all back. So when we encode memories, we often encode memories with a strong emotion. And so here, that's our episodic memory at play. So the ability to recall, and the music is acting as a prompt to do that. But what also is notable here is there's structures deep within the brain called the basal ganglia, and they're responsible for kind of encoding our coordination of sequences of movement. So when we're playing a musical instrument or learning or rehearsing a dance routine, it's those that are at play. And music has been shown to activate and stimulate those regions, like particularly rhythm.
You're with Neuralinks, but how can people access this in Ireland now if they wanted to do that? Do they have to go to someone like you, or is that available? Is that part of something like if you're in hospital and as part of a therapy?
It is. So, for example, I work in the National Rehabilitation Hospital where there's a team, so there's three of us working there, three music therapists. So, in a lot of the children's hospitals and actually a lot of the hospitals across Ireland, I know the University Hospital Limerick, Temple Street, Crumlin. So a lot of the hospitals do have access to music therapy. However, in the community, it would be coming to people like ourselves working in the community.
So if people had a parent with dementia or Alzheimer's, would you encourage them to listen to music with their parents, for instance, and try to invoke those memories again?
Absolutely. And I think the research would point at using kind of personally significant music. So, for example, one day a week, I work with a group of older adults with dementia and cognitive decline generally. And there's one or two in particular who stick out. And, you know, I'll play Oh Danny Boy. And one person in particular is pretty much asleep most of the time or at rest. And those first few chords are played.
You just see.
And the face lights up. He's completely awake and will sing every single word from beginning to end.
Isn't that amazing?
Of that song.
Tell us about the event that's happening, the Move for Parkinson's.
Yes, so we've come together with Move for Parkinson's, which are a charity organisation to support people with Parkinson's. And we are running an event at the end of April. So April is World Parkinson's Awareness Month. And we are running, just a workshop, I suppose, to present some of the research supporting music therapy for people with Parkinson's, and I suppose giving attendees an opportunity to experience some of the techniques that we would use either in a one-on-one session or in a group scenario.
I mean, even just watching that ballet dance, that clip,
and just when you say when the music comes on, this person who's
Yeah.
basically asleep all the time just comes alive.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
And so if people want to get involved in this, moveforparkinsons.com is the website, and that's the number 4. It's on Friday the 28th of April between 2 to 5 o'clock, Killiney, Dublin. Dr. Shane Cassidy, neurological musical therapist and founder of Neuralinks Dublin. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for
coming
having
in,
me.
and best of luck with that. We have still lots more to come here on Ireland, and we're going to be talking to Louise McSharry as she's going to talk about live podcasting.
So come back to us, and we've ribs in the kitchen.